This is Tony Poulos, and I'm here today with David Chambers, who is the Solutions Marketing Director, OSS Division at Amdocs. David, welcome. It's good to have you here. I have a couple of questions I'd like to ask you about, particularly about this so-called data crunch or data capacity crunch that we keep hearing about. Is it real?
A very good term, the data capacity crunch. We've been keen to find some hard facts just about how serious it is and what impact it's having on service providers. So very recently we commissioned a survey to look at 30 mobile network operators around the world and specifically to talk to the network planners within those businesses to find out how severe it was. And the first thing that we came up with was that 63% of our sample said it's a real problem for them. And 20% of the sample said it's actually causing severe overload at times on their network. So this is a very real problem today.
So it is real, but what evidence do we have about the causes of this data crunch?
So I think if we look at what the causes of that overload are, they vary depending on which region of the world you're in. So for example, in parts of Asia, perhaps where there are fewer alternative sources of broadband, the USB data dongle tends to dominate the traffic mix, whereas in America, it's very much smartphones. You've got a very high penetration of smartphones here in this country, and the traffic from those is growing very, very quickly.
And what impact is it really having on the operators?
So again, that was a question that we asked, and the hard facts are that the number of customer complaints is starting to grow because the data service that people are getting is not matching their expectations. So we're seeing a growing number of customer complaints, possibly a growing risk of churn to other networks, and really a very significant concern that it's affecting the brand reputation of some of the service providers themselves.
You touched on the causes of the data crunch. Can you give me more information about that?
In terms of the cause of the load of traffic, it's as I said, smartphones in North America, and I imagine that smartphones are going to become a growing concern in other parts of the world. It's not just the amount of traffic itself, the total number of gigabytes passed through, it's also related to issues around signaling, because some of the smartphones are very intensive. Some of the applications that we have on smartphones are very intensive use of network resources, even where the volume of data traffic is quite small.
So what strategies can operators adopt to alleviate the problem?
I think that's an area where a number of thought leaders have been proposing a wider range of strategies and techniques to deal with the issue. Many network planners are looking to build out a lot of extra capacity, but that's not going to be enough on its own. So things like offloading to Wi-Fi, femtocells, pricing changes, introducing usage caps, optimizing the data and the applications that use the data connections are all part of the armory that a service provider can adopt.
So shouldn't operators be thinking ahead, preparing for the data capacity crunch, even if it hasn't hit them yet?
It's coming up very quickly. We've seen a number of operators, for example, Telefonica O2, were saying the data traffic on their network is doubling every 6 months. The growth that Cisco forecast is something like 39-fold over the next few years, and even Yankee Group are predicting a 20-fold growth. So simply building out new capacity on its own isn't going to be enough. Other techniques have to be adopted, but within the rollout of that additional capacity, it's got to be done in such a way that's very efficient and managed very carefully, because it will become a more and more precious resource.
David Chambers, thanks for spending time with me.
Thanks very much, Tony.